for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Why can't you stay with the group?
There is no pause. One nation under God.
Every night.
All right, let's get a roll call of the members present, please. I am here.
Present.
Here. 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 Here.
I am here.
Thank you very much. Let's have first reading, please.
You know what?
Porter County General Fund, Sheriff General, 1,1005, 1130 overtime, 1,834.02, Sheriff General, 1230 per, $263. County Council, 3110, legal, $10,000. For total, $274,834.02. Seated, Special Project Animal Shelter, 2250, other supplies, 2,500. Special Project Animal Shelter, 3160, vet services, 2,500. For a total of $5,000 seated. Assessor Credit Disclosure Fund, 1340, board, 750. 950, contractual services, 28,000. Health Department, Indiana Local Health Department Trust Account, also known as the Tobacco Fund, 1120 hourly, $20,000. 1210 FICA, $8,225. Porter County Substance Abuse Council, Drug Food Trade Community Fund. Grant distribution prevention, $41,856.15. Grant distribution treatment, $46,856.15. Grant distribution law enforcement justice, $51,856.16. Grant distribution administration, substitute office, $187,424.60. Treasurer, tax sale fund, 3340, advertising, $3,381.67. 3950, contractual services, $8,975. Juvenile detention, mental health grant, $3950, contractual services, $32,823. Tourism, $3520, water and sewage, $5,000. Highway, motor vehicle highway fund, $2320, auto, truck, and equipment, $10,000. $3650, vehicle repair, $10,000. ICF Enhanced Access Fund, $4510, data processing equipment, $6,241.11. Parks and Recreation. Park KCECLT Fund, land, $4110, land acquisition, $450,720. Park Kane Bicentennial Fund, $4110, land acquisition, $244,470. Park Kane Conservation Fund, $4110, land acquisition, $196,920. Donation, Sheriff, $2250, other supplies, $5,000. $3130, training and education, $3,000. $3630, equipment other than vehicles, $10,000. And $3980, investment expenses, $2,000. Prosecutor local grant, OWI testing, $3950, contractual services, $1,132.52. Indiana Judicial Community Mental Health Grant, $3950, contractual services, $74,563. Taxpayers during such meeting shall have a right to indicate thereon the additional appropriations of funds made will be referred to the Indiana Department of Local Government Finance. The DHF will make a written determination as to the sufficiency of funds to support the appropriation of the 1650 rating receipt of a certified copy of the action statement and Mr. Dan Auditor of Porter County published October 15, 2015.
Thank you very much. Next thing on the agenda is actually the Porter County Regional Airport presentation, but I had them bring that last night to us, so that is not going to be handled tonight. Let's knock out a couple of these quick ones. Porter Superior Court DO6, Judge Tody. We have a transfer of $300 from 3930 dues and subscriptions to training and ed, not enough funds to reimburse for judicial conference, $6,000 from salaries to office equipment. Do not anticipate the filling of a position of court secretary for the remainder of the year. They would like to purchase office furniture with remainder funds. What's your pleasure?
Second.
Motion is second on transfer and well, both transfers, I assume?
Yes.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. That's all you had tonight, Judge?
That is, thank you so much.
Have a good evening.
Some people I see, once I win, I'll just be quiet.
Yes, I understand. We've got Porter Superior 3, Judge Gent, $500 from legal to training and ed. Money is needed to attend winter conference and other training. What's your pleasure?
Move. Second.
Their motion is second on the transfer. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Tourism, Lorelei, would you come up? She's got to be out of here for another meeting, so I told her we'd take her early.
Joint meeting with girls.
Tourism, there's an additional $5,000 to 3520 Water and Sewer. Town of Porter changed the billing rate for 15. Indiana American Water rebuild from October of 14. Increasing the water bill and waste water storm water bills, transferring to make final end-year purchases.
Move.
We have a motion. Second. And a second. Discussion. Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Conover?
Yes.
Councilmember Vick?
Yes.
Councilmember Graham?
Yes.
Councilmember Joseph?
Yes.
Councilmember Papera?
Yes.
Councilmember Rivas?
Yes.
And Councilmember Leonard?
Yes.
7-0.
Thank you very much.
Take note of that.
Let's go to the sheriff. I understand he's got some folks here, so let's just kind of get right to it. Evening, Sheriff, how are you?
Good. Good evening, Sheriff. In addition to what's on my agenda, I've been working on a project regarding response time for law enforcement in respect to active shooters in schools. And based on my research and everything that we've done, I found this program where I have a speaker. I know we're short for time, so this won't take long. I reached, after I was convinced that this is what we want to do, and basically what it has is, what it will do is I will get every law enforcement officer in Lake County, Porter County, Jasper County, and LaPorte County to have an app that they will download on their phone for free. I've then personally reached out and spoke to every school system and every school in Porter County. And there's 75 schools I've identified in Porter County. Of the 75, every school system, public school system, has supported this and said in January they will take on the outlay, the maintenance of what it costs. Every school, Portage, Valpo, Portage, Valpo, East Porter, Boone, and Porter, and Union. The one school that hasn't said no, but has not responded to me, yes or no, is Dillon. But I want to move forward with this. And initially, I contacted members of the council and asked for their thoughts. And I talked to your attorney of having the county fund $75,000, which would encompass all the public and private schools. The private schools have not responded. I'm not saying they're not for it, but they have to go through the diocese and maybe other layers of approval. But at this point, I can't wait for them. I think eventually they'll all be on board. Ivy Tech is on board. Actually, Hilltop is on board, 1,000%. which is the food pantry and daycare center up there. So they're on board. So I've reached out to, from daycares all the way up. And what I want to do is allow you to have, this is Nate McVicker. He's the owner of School Guard. He knows we're on a time restraint, but he's going to explain to you probably a little better than I can the effectiveness and the powerfulness of this program. Yep, thank you.
Thank you, folks. Excuse my back against you, Councilman, gentlemen. Thank you for having me. A little bit about myself. Appreciate your time. Sheriff, thanks for having us here. I just wrapped up at the International Association of Chiefs of Police. Thank goodness I was ahead of the President's schedule. He's speaking there on our violence right now, which is our #1 act of domestic terrorism. Thank you for having me travel over here, that I'm back down south. I value your time. I'll keep this brief. Kudos to you, kudos to the county and the school for understanding the threat. Those of you that aren't aware, we are under war. I'm a 17-year veteran police officer myself in Illinois, lovely wife, I have 3 kids. And this is a problem that's not going away. This is an epidemic in our country. Our country's #1 act of domestic terrorism has been coined an active shooter. It's more like an active killer. It's an epidemic. We've got to do something about it. All the studies I've done on my team, I have the world's foremost expert in workplace school violence, Lieutenant Colonel Dave Grossman, speaks 300 times a year. He's an advocate towards us, as well as Lieutenant Brian Murphy, Oak Creek, Wisconsin. Police officer, August 5th, 2012, Brian Murphy was shot 15 times while waiting his backup to arrive during the Oak Creek massacre at the Sikh temple. My friends, this is a problem that's not going away. Once again, thank you for understanding it. We all know that denial is a save now, pay later scheme. All the studies I've done, all the studies my team have done, in every single one of these senseless acts of violence, these mass murders that are systematically, methodically planned out, there remains one common conclusion. And that one common conclusion is a shorter police notification and subsequent response time can and will save lives. It comes down to that, plain and simple, and everything else falls into place. That's what it's all about. Myself, a team of law enforcement officers, technology experts, designed this through geocoding, using the powers we can with technology, designed a smartphone app, everyone has an app for anything out there now, to expedite the notification time for police officers. Federal, state, and local, we're live now in all 50 states, well over 24,000 police officers. I just had a meeting with the heads of the FBI at the IUCP conference. They're in the process of supporting this, actually making it a mandated app on their newly issued phones. Not yet, still doing their due diligence. We know how that works. So if you allow me just to show you exactly how simple this is, there's a lot of technologies out there. My thought on the different technologies is there's no police perspective when they design these things. I'm a cop. We've had cops. This is built for cops. During psychology, how your body reacts under the most chaotic situation we will ever face, being an active shooting incident, you lose fine motor skills. You may not remember your first name. You actually become colorblind with the exception of the color red. That's how easy this is. The system has got to be easy with safeguards, and the system now, just in a little over a year, is going to be live next month in 13 states already. Indiana is already live right now. I've got one of my associates, captain with the Washington Police Department, Tim Guy. He was the first schools that rolled this out within his county. So it's called School Guard. It literally puts a panic button in the hands of every one of your approved teachers, janitors, staff, by means of a smartphone or an iPad. And it has several daily features. I encourage you to look at the website. I value your time tonight. If you allow me to explain the daily features real quick, though, Principal Push is just one of the features. This is all in one app. You can see our big, bright, shiny red buttons. If there's a tornado spot and power's out, let's say in California, this is successful. There was a drunk, belligerent parent that actually showed up to get his child after school was out, did not have custody of his child. Principal got on there and sent a blast text message out, intra-school only, to all the users that he had approved on the system. Said, police are en route, safeguard Johnny, Johnny's dad's on property today. They raved about the daily features. Another feature which is very advantageous to the teachers, button called Teacher Assist, intra-school only as well. Let's say there's a fight in the classroom. Myself as a math teacher or a science teacher, I can't maybe break it up, I don't want to send someone to the office. I simply use technology, hit Teacher Assist, it says Mr. McVicker needs assistance, shows a map of where I am, and actually I can type in there or speak, fight in my room. People can come to me. My friends, our country's #1 act of domestic terrorism, bar none, is an active killing. We see it every time from the 1960s. It has not declined at all. Every year, every decade, it continued to scale and scale. All the studies I've done with Lieutenant Colonel Dave Grossman and others, whatever anyone's belief is, these killers fear one thing, and that is failure. Okay? They fear one thing in failure. If Nate McVicker is this next sociopath that wants to come over to Indiana, I fear one thing. Okay? As gruesome as it is, it's the amount of deaths that I want to occur. It's the rampage I want to occur on your property, in your schools. We've got to stop them. We've got to have the police get there, plain and simple, as soon as possible. Until we understand this threat as a community, as a country, my friends, this is a problem that's not going away. I teach across the country, believe me, we've got to conquer this. So the main feature of this right here is built exactly on that. Reduce the police notification time, shall you have this occur. What happened, and I'm going to play one audio clip right here. This is really why we built this. We revert back to the unfortunate scene that we saw at Sandy Hook Elementary. I have 3 kids myself. I could not imagine something like that ever happening to me, but those kids are my kids over there too. If you've never heard the first call to 911, this will literally make the hair on your neck stand up. From the first shot to the first police officer actually notified of the Sandy Hook massacre, took 126 seconds before a police officer was notified. 20 children, 6 teachers were innocently murdered. That is way too long. That's unacceptable. We've got to get police notified. My friends, this is the first call into 911.
911 State Police, can I help you?
The shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary School. In Newtown, Connecticut.
What school, ma'am?
Sandy Hook Elementary in Newtown.
In Newtown?
Sandy Hook Elementary in Newtown, Connecticut.
All right, stay on the line. I have to transfer you to Newtown. Stay on the line.
There's shots being fired. There's kids being killed.
All right, stay on the line, man. That's all you were. And were you picking up?
Yeah.
All right, what do you see?
I hear shooting outside. Can you... Okay, I can help you.
All right, you have 100 people.
I hear shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown.
Oh, you're at Dickinson School?
What?
Are you at Dickinson?
No, Sandy Hook in Newtown, Connecticut.
Okay, what's going on there? Are you in a room? Are you safe?
I'm outside the building. I can't get in. I'm afraid of the front door. All right. My door's in that building, too.
We've now dispatched a police officer. They got on scene exponentially fast after that. However, 126 seconds is unacceptable. We've got to do something. We need to increase technology. What we have done under the development of this application, which is supported by some major advocates in this field across the country, is there's one button up here called Report Armed Intruder. Works on your iPhones, the approved, your Apple phones, or iPads for these teachers out here. All they need to do is simply grab the phone. It puts a panic button in the hands of every teacher out there, whoever's approved by the gatekeeper of that school. They hit it, so there's no inadvertent activations. They slide it over. Remember how your body reacts under immediate stress, chaotic situation. You lose those fine motor skills. There are safety measures in here, but it's got to be easy. They slide it over. They hit yes. What it's doing right now is calling 911. By no means is this a competition with 911. Indiana, the executive director of Indiana, actually, in Washington County, was instrumental in 911 monies actually helping to support this in Tim's respective area. This is speed dialing 911 right now. As you are waiting to speak with a 911 operator to literally tell them the emergency itself, just like you would on a normal phone call. It's already done three crucial things. Number one, it's already alerted all police officers, it's already alerted everyone on property, shows them a map of where the alert came from in your property, all your other teachers right there, okay, so they have situational awareness. It alerts all other protected schools within 5 miles. There was one in Utah today, a shooter outside was fleeing the scene. 20% of active shooters do go mobile. If you look at statistics, he actually tried to enter a school, they knew about it, they locked down immediately. So while your school A has alerted an armed intruder alert with the school guard system, it has already alerted all your other schools who are nearby. They can immediately go on lockdown. As the sheriff or the chief or whoever, we don't have time to be alerting every single school. We are going directly to school A with the threat. That's what we're trained to do. As you are still waiting to speak with 911, this is what sets us aside from anything else out here. We have formed a group called Hero 911. This is free for police officers to download, but I mentioned it's in all 50 states, supported from the feds down. Federal, state, and local officers have downloaded this app. You have to be a cop to download it. There's a vetting process. We do that internally, okay? They download the app. We vet you as a police officer, and you're approved to carry this app. We have an internal team that does that. Right now, there's well over 24,000 police officers in all 50 states that maintain the Hero 911 app. It's calling 911. It's alerted the teachers, alerted the other schools, and lastly, while you're still waiting to talk with 911, it's alerted every police officer, federal, state, and local, who are in close proximity to your alert. That's the problem we're dealing with, immediate notification. I'll leave you with this. The analogy I've always used, and by the way, it shows how many officers have acknowledged the alerts, the address, and shows you a map where it is. At that time, myself as an officer, my phone's down, I'm checking the validity, and I'm going on scene. I want to get there very, very quick. The analogy I've always used, since we've done this from day one, I'm a police officer, 17 years, off-duty 80% of the time. My friends, there's no such stature as an off-duty police officer anymore. If you look at Oregon, the massacre we had in Oregon, the senseless rampage that happened in Oregon just a little over a couple weeks ago, the 2 officers that engaged and took the shooter down, plainclothes officers. If it weren't for them, it would have been a heck of a lot worse than it already was. We've got to get police officers on scene as quick as possible. I'm a state officer. I live in a town of 10,000 people. Of my town that I live in, there's 14 officers. There's only 2 that are on duty. If one's in the county jail, 15 miles away, if one's on the interstate handling something, and God forbid something happened at my kid's school, I don't know how I could bear living with myself knowing that I'm a police officer, to be on scene in 30 seconds, waiting for my team to show up. If something's going on, it's a game changer, of course. And the reality is, in this town of 10,000, the 2 officers that are busy, that only are going to get dispatched anyhow, when they get dispatched, there's about 50 federal, state, and local officers that live there. We no longer need to have this be a secret. We're in a war. This is an epidemic. We need to be privy to these natures. We need to save your kids. We need to save our kids. And we need to embrace technology. So I think I rambled for 2 more minutes longer. Does anyone have any questions I can immediately answer?
So if I understand this correctly, what the system does is allows the complainant, in a case in a school, a teacher, allows that concern or that call to go directly to the police officer who may be passing right by the school at that time.
Absolutely.
Instead of passing through E911 or some other.
It's working in concert, it's doing the same thing.
Yeah, right.
As you heard in the 911 call, instead of being dispatched immediately, we're not self-dispatching, we're creating situational awareness. They're going to get it exponentially faster. I think everyone would agree that it would be infinitely better to get the first 1 or 2 officers on scene, because remember, ever since Columbine, there's no negotiating, there's no mitigating these threats anymore. We are trained nationwide to get on scene and take care of business as soon as possible. As we do so, we've got to get officers there quicker. It's infinitely better to get the first 1 or 2 there quicker, as opposed to the masses that are going to show up anyhow. This technology is not built to get 1,000 cops there. This technology is built to get the first 1 or 2 officers there a heck of a lot quicker. The problem is, these active shooting incidents, workplace, they last 10 minutes. In the school setting, they're about 12 and a half minutes when you take the totality. The problem is, they're short-lived, 12 and a half minutes for a shooting incident. The average police response time, when you take the totality, some of the calls that are transferred back and forth, the telephone game, we finally notify the police, they get on scene, the average response time to these scenes, it's well over with. The FBI has just come out with a new study, it came down 1 minute, used to be 18 minutes, average response time to subduing the subject is 17 minutes. It's over with in 12 and a half. Common conclusion, we've got to get police notified quicker.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it. Okay.
So, you have something?
I'm just gonna, he mentioned something about a territory, that it's, that everybody would get the response, that the people, you said there was a territory, that, an area?
Yes, ma'am. So what we do, let's pretend this is a school. With the geocoding that was actually, came out 6 years ago, we set up a latitude, longitude, and a radius of this school right here. The teachers who are approved, since it's their devices, iPhones, iPads, whatever it may be, the school district owns the service, of course. The teachers go home at night, they leave the outer perimeter, the geofence. It doesn't work when they're at home, in other words. And the law enforcement, depending on demographics of your area, we're not alerting downtown Chicago, of course, we're alerting your immediate area, and that's upon the custom-built geofence of every property, how far you wish to alert these officers.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Okay, thank you for the presentation, Sheriff. We don't actually have a request in front of us at this time. Let me ask a couple questions. One is, so what would be the initial outlay for the program?
Well, right now, initially I thought it was with 75 schools, it was 75,000. He's discounted the initial outlay, but we only have 34 schools right now that have responded to me, all of the public schools, basically, outside of Duneland, and including Hilltop and Ivy Tech, so 34 schools. So it'd be 34,000.
And I guess I would ask the commissioners a quick question. I have no specific knowledge of this, so just pretend like I don't know anything about it, but we have something through, I'm told we have something through 911 that might do this or doesn't do this. Can someone tell me that?
I would refer to CJ from E911, who's here. If you want.
Is there something in place, or is there some other program?
There is not anything relative to the school panic button in place at this time. We do have what we all come to know as Smart 911 in this county, and the maker of Smart 911, Rave Mobile, has a very similar app, and myself and EMA came before the commissioners July, I would say, for approval on another mass notification system, which should not be confused with anything like what he just demonstrated or any other school panic button. It's more of a system to just broadcast weather or road closings or what have you. Rave Mobile has their own school panic app that would essentially integrate into existing.
How would it differ, how does it differ from what, I'm not going to put you on the spot here, but how does it differ between that upgrade and this? Do you know?
I'm not an expert with any of the systems.
Right.
I've seen nothing more than a demonstration of now the Air 911 app, and I've seen a demo of Braves. I wouldn't say that there's a vast difference.
Do you know the cost of that app?
For the I believe the 7 school districts, public school districts in the county, we received a quote in the neighborhood of about $20,000, with about a $2,500 one-time setup.
And CJ, what is the difference between the two programs?
He just answered that.
Well, if he did, I didn't.
Yeah, I don't think he wanted to, he said he's not the expert on it,
I see a
but...
noticeable difference with the Hero 911 app, and please correct me if I misunderstood anything, is that you would have your school, so what is similar is that there's a vetting process. The school systems would put their teachers, which would allow them to download the app. That's similar on both platforms. Then you've got law enforcement, speaking to the Hero 911 app, you've got law enforcement being vetted, so they're allowed to download the free app with their phones. All right, good so far?
Yeah, yes, sir, I believe so.
Okay. And then the way that it all works is within a radius of the school, if an off-duty or on-duty officer with that app, they would be notified. The Rave mobile app is going to, we would have to build out a database of names and phone numbers of these police officers in advance, and we would then push out.
So you would literally have to physically go and retrieve phone numbers from individual police officers, state police officers, federal officials. I mean, well, you'd have to, if you're gonna build a database, you have to go and grab that information and then get it downloaded into a system. Well, then we're talking apples and oranges then. I mean, this has already been done.
No, I think you guys, your system, you'd have to download phone numbers, right?
I'm sorry, I was wondering where that...
How would you know to send it to sheriff?
It's simple, the police officers have already downloaded the app.
Yes, sir, so...
Okay, it goes back.
So that's how that
It
works.
goes the other way. They gotta go forward, they gotta go backwards.
We have some,
That's the difference.
the world's leading foremost expert that doesn't promote anything, believe me, came to us and said, I've never seen anything like this. People knock down his doors. We, of course, welcomed him to our team. 300 times a year he teaches, among other very, very powerful people in this country that are promoting this. It is free for police officers. The difference, and you may know this, sir, and this is not disparaging to any technology company out there, we are working with some of them. Some of them came to us. They very much like ours, of course. The difference between ours, we understand how psychology works. It was built by cops for cops. It's not overwhelming. It cannot be overwhelming. There's a lot of things in technology world that I know the system you're speaking of, sure, I know some other systems. They do some great things. However, I know them. I'm confused. Imagine if I was in a level of stress, how my body is shutting down with these fine motor skills. I cannot know my first name. It has got to be simple if it's going to work. It's built by cops, for cops. It is simple, and the police officers download this for free.
Okay, thank you. So here's what I would suggest. I think you're going to find that everybody is in support of a program. I mean, common sense dictates that. What I would like in asking you, Sheriff, is to put together a request where you anticipate the funds to come from. I would ask that you first look to your budgets to do so, and you and I have talked briefly about that, and you've had an idea or two which might lend itself to that. In the meantime, I guess I would like to get a little more information from the commissioners between now and the time that we vote on your request as to more specifics. I want to make sure we are, in fact, comparing apples and oranges and maybe get from someone that knows that mobile upgrade better through Rave, just for my peace of mind.
Can I just say something?
Yes, sir.
I mean, I know, the Smart 911 works. You have to understand, I'm not in here trying to say anything bad about the Smart 911. It's been in operation for 5 or 6 years. What they're trying to do with the law enforcement is it's just too cumbersome.
Right.
We're not talking about the same thing. And I've already talked to, we thought we were going to get this money out of unallocated CEDIC money. Well, that's not going to happen. We talked to Karen. I think everybody supports something. What I'm going to do is I have a seizure monies that I just received from Chicago, a heroin seizure in Chicago with my DEA agent, and one of my officers working with DEA. And I didn't want to do this because I wanted to use that money to start my working on my range, trying to get the drainage issues taken care of. But I believe in this so much, I don't want to wait, because I wait another month, 2 months, and something happens, I nor you can live with yourself. okay? I mean, it's happening all over the place. It happened in Bolingbrook, right outside of Bolingbrook yesterday. It happened in Utah, you said, I mean, it's not if it's gonna happen, it's when it's gonna happen. I'm prepared, of the 33, 34 schools that have said yes, that I will take the money out of my seizure money and get going on this right away. And hopefully next year, I mean, I know the schools, you have Julie Laux here right now, the Assistant Superintendent of Valparaiso School System. I've talked to, I know Allison Cox would want to say something if you want to, but she's...
No, we don't need to do that.
She supports it from the Safety Schools Commission. The support is there. We all know that we have to do this. I will guarantee I'll get all this, the easy part of this is getting law enforcement to get the app. They'll have it within a couple of weeks, we'll be off and running, and I'll feel a lot better. I think every teacher will feel a lot better. I know every administrator will feel a lot better, that if some, God forbid, happen and they push the button, there will be police coming. And so that's kind of what I want to let you know.
I'd like to, hold on. Go ahead.
I just wanted to add, Sheriff, that when you and I talked, we did talk about the possibility of grant money. And the governor just released $20 million for safe schools.
I'll look into that,
Okay.
but that's time.
And I'm just wondering if it will help with the ongoing costs to our school corporations, too.
They're looking into grants offsetting their costs.
Okay.
And they're all doing that. They're all lockstep on that. But I'm not exactly sure, well, that's another issue, where that, or the money, there's supposedly money there, I'm not exactly sure. Maybe Julie can talk about where that money's coming from, I don't know, or how you get to it.
No, that's fine, that's fine, he doesn't want to wait.
Just one question.
Sylvia?
What is the maintenance,
Well, the school system's gonna take care of that,
Okay.
not you.
I'm not
So,
worried.
Yeah,
Is it reasonable?
It's about $100 a month per building.
right, so here's
Geo building.
So my suggestion was to get some more information on what we're already
Right.
approved, but if the council is not so inclined and would like to act on this, I mean, there's no formal request in front of us for funding.
Well, I'd like to ask the council to consider, if the sheriff will, and it's sort of in line with what you're suggesting, Dan, is, Sheriff, come back in front of us at the third reading with the amount of money that you can put toward this. In the meantime, we'll work on our end and with Commissioner Good and see any additional that we can come up with. I totally understand, totally on board. The sooner we do this, the better everybody is. And it is an absolute no-brainer.
Well, it's just a transfer, right? I mean, you've got the money.
Right.
So we just need to do a transfer.
Yeah.
We have to publicize.
It would be, I just need to increase the line items so I can get the money out of there.
Yeah, so we can deal with it on Thursday.
Sheriff, I appreciate your effort on this, and you believe in it, obviously. My one question with the system here is, so when that happens, when a school teacher does press that button, we're also, like I represent Portage, so it's in Portage, we also have the Portage Police Department. How does that work with the Portage Police Department? And also, if you have different people responding in the area, whether the chief in Portage and the sheriff, do they know who is then responding, so they know which officers are on there? So when the chief gets there, or the sheriff gets there, they know who's there, they know how many closed officers are there with guns, trying to secure.
Good question, and that's one we've been tackling across country. And the answer to that is, I revert back a little bit to the Oregon, the two plainclothes officers that took them down. Once again, this is to get officers on and seen as quick as possible. We all understand that. On the Hero 911 phone, I'm a police officer. If it goes off in my area, it does say acknowledge uniform, acknowledge plainclothes. Not that I'm responding, but once again, the recipient officers, whoever received that alert, it has an ongoing ticker from the second the alert was triggered to where it was triggered, and also how many uniform and plainclothes officers have acknowledged it. And are we going to be able to study that thing and keep studying that? No, absolutely not. The masses of police officers are going to show up. We all know that when they hear about it. The point is, we want these people hearing about it a heck of a lot sooner.
But Jeremy, that's exactly what we train on. We train on that right now without all of this. With our active shooter response training, knowing that there'll be other policemen that could be there, and we have a protocol to handle that.
And then with the municipalities, coming through the county 911, how is that gonna work to the chief of Portage? Is he gonna have access to that information to know?
He's gonna be notified too.
Absolutely.
He'll have the app on his phone.
But he'll know who's
Well, I
there.
guess he's asking if, as the Portage Police Chief responds to, an elementary school, is he gonna know that there happens to be an off-duty COUTS officer that's gonna be there as well?
Will he be an administrator of sort that he knows?
Yeah, those are things that we discuss and we train on, all the different scenarios. The most important thing is, you have to, and talk about grade school, in the FBI, the thing they just released, one of the highest kill ratios was in elementary schools.
But the question...
But what would happen is, whoever shows up, if I'm the police chief of Portage and a COUTS officer is got there, he's gonna run in and he's going to where somebody's shooting. And that it'll all be worked out real quick. Because like you said,
I think the question is, will he know through the app what other officers are responding?
We do not track police officers, nor do police officers want to be tracked, but we do know their location, that X amount of officers got alerted to the Portage High School per se, and there's X amount of uniform, X amount of plainclothes officers that have knowledge. It's not going to show Nate McVicker is in plainclothes in a shirt, white shirt going over here. We don't have time to dissect that information. Once again, immediate notification, and we get there. Every one of these incidents, every study I have ever done, and I mirror what Colonel Grossman says, I echo what he says, every single one of them has feds, locals, state, plainclothes, parents, guardians, everyone showing up. We need to have everyone back off, get the cops there as quick as possible, uniform, plainclothes, like in Oregon, as quick as possible, and then that's when we as police officers, our universal policy, that's when usually the sheriff will show up. As soon as he's going to hear about it, the chief's going to show up. We need those cops notified quick, and then the inner perimeter, outer perimeter is set.
Right, but the person that hits the panic is gonna know a number, how many people are gonna show up.
How many people have been notified in the area? How many officers?
Oh, I thought I
are in
The
the-
police officers, the police officers will. The teachers are going to know the alert. Once again, we don't have time. I've never been a teacher, but most chaotic situation, we're not going to have time to be studying it. You take your proactive measures on lockdown, secure, whatever you guys do. A lot of the daily features there. We don't have time to be reading syllabuses. My job as a teacher, I'm protecting my kids. I got alerted, okay, subconscious mind during my training, what am I doing with my kids? I know police are in or out, and they're going to get there a heck of a lot quicker now.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
No, that was my question. I mean, and you're right, it's your train when you get there to secure it, and you guys know, that's your training, and I appreciate this effort, and I do, and it's just the quicker we can get this done.
I mean, in the whole big scheme of things, it's over in 2 minutes, 3 minutes.
Yeah.
5 minutes, 10 tops. It's over. And you're still halfway coming there. So really, it is important, the first 2, 3 guys on the scene, that's it, that's all that really matters, whether they're plain clothes or they're skivvies. Okay, we'll address it Thursday. Thank you, Sheriff. I think it sounds great. I mean, I just want to double back around and make sure that we don't have a duplication of services issue. Doesn't sound like we do, but I want to get a little more homework on that between now and Thursday. Is that possible, Commissioner Good? Do you think we can get from 911 a little more detail on? That would be very helpful.
No, Jeff, you're right. I'll call you tomorrow, and we'll break down the difference in the two, okay?
Okay, sounds good. All right, thank you very much. General Fund Sheriff, additional $1,834.02 to overtime, special service overtime reimbursement from a whole bunch of acronyms.
Move,
A motion and a second on the floor. You want to do them all? We also have, let's just do them one at a time. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Vick?
Yes.
Councilmember Graham?
Yes.
Councilmember Jessen?
Yes.
Councilmember Paparad?
Yes.
Councilmember Rivas?
Yes.
Councilmember Whitten?
Yes.
Councilmember Conover?
Yes.
7-0.
Sounds good. Additional $263,000 to PERF to complete the 15 police pension payments. What's your pleasure?
Move.
A motion and a second on the floor. Discussion? Is this going to go through, Vicki?
Yeah.
Vicki?
I don't know. On paper, it doesn't look like the state would approve it, but I can explain some revenue projections and what we anticipate getting. I don't know, but the state does We're going to turn this in tomorrow, and the state has been responding very quickly. I will let you know as soon as I hear from the...
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Okay. Councilmember Graham?
Yes.
Councilmember Jessen?
Yes.
Councilmember Paparad?
Yes.
Councilmember Rivas?
Yes.
Councilmember Witten?
Yes.
Councilmember Conover?
Yes.
Councilmember Biggs?
Yes.
7-0.
Additional is approved. Transfer $25,000 from salaries to overtime, share of unused salaries to cover shortage and overtime line item. What's your pleasure?
Move.
We have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
And a second, discussion. Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed. The ayes have it, donations, additional $5,000, $3,000, $10,000, and $2,000 to various places. What's your pleasure?
Move.
Second.
We have a motion in a couple of seconds. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Jessen?
Yes.
Councilmember Paparad?
Yes.
Councilmember Rivas?
Yes.
Councilmember Witten?
Yes.
Councilmember Conover?
Yes.
Councilmember Biggs?
Yes.
Councilmember Graham?
Yes.
7-0.
Thank you. $35,000 general fund jail. Salaries to overtime, same reason. What's your pleasure?
Second.
Motion and a second on the floor. Any discussion?
Steve, are we, last time you were in front of us, when we talked about the jail, about losing so many personnel to Pratt, are we replenishing that?
We are, but we're still losing.
Okay.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Transfer is approved. Form 144, create temporary jailer position 0 to 34,988, moving not and additional just using as a temporary position, see letter. I think we all understand that. We've asked for questions. What's your pleasure with the form?
Move.
We have a motion and a second on the floor. This is just sort of a temporary thing because of people.
Will that die at the end of the year then?
Do what?
Is this due now in the end of the year?
Well, I guess it depends on when the person that becomes eligible will move up. Is that what it is?
Yeah, and we really should have it there all the time, because when it happens, it's harder to move up a rank person. It takes longer, because they have to go through a process of, picking somebody, and then we end up with losing a jailer that we need to hire right away. So this just basically takes that money from the empty positions, put down to pay a lower rank, and then when they move up, then we move everything back.
All right, fair enough. Any other questions? Roll call on this, please.
Councilmember Paparad?
Yes.
Councilmember Rivas?
Yes.
Councilmember Witten?
Yes.
Councilmember Conover?
Yes.
Councilmember Biggs?
Yes.
Councilmember Graham?
Yes.
Councilmember Jessen?
Yes.
7-0.
Good hit, Sheriff. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
No problem. Commissioners?
Thank you.
Take care, Sheriff. We'll see you. Commissioners? Senior project, special project animal shelter, $2,500 to other supplies, $2,500 to vet to start TNR, trap, near, and return. Sounds like a marriage. Wow, I just threw that right here.
It's gonna be on video. Send a copy as well.
That's okay. She knows.
She's painfully aware.
She's painfully aware of me.
Move to approve.
We have a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Yes.
And a second, any discussion?
This will be a county-wide program?
Good question, Jeremy. Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Rivas?
Yes.
Councilmember Witten?
Yes.
Councilmember Conover?
Yes.
Councilmember Biggs?
Yes.
Councilmember Graham?
Yes.
Councilmember Jessen?
Yes.
Councilmember Paparad?
Yes.
7-0.
We also have a transfer of $9,000 from other supplies to vet services to cover cost of food and vet care for October, November. We have a motion on the floor and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Transfer is approved. Memorial Opera House, $21,000 from hourly to, that's not on there. That's right, we're pulling that. Pulling the Memorial Opera House. Thank you, everyone, for jumping on me for that. Human Resources. New job description, Form 144, changed from Facility Services Supervisor to Facility Director. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Not too shabby, really, but the night is young.
laugh, I have this thing going on.
Uh-oh. It's true of most of us.
I'll start coughing. So it became apparent, working with maintenance group, that we needed to have somebody, one person, who's in charge of the whole department, who knows what's going on, who knows where our employees are, and can identify preventive maintenance issues, and we have a lot of buildings here with a lot of mechanical systems, but we don't really got anyone in place to really quite understand what's going on. So when Jerry Bryan vacated his position as the facility services supervisor, we came up with a job description for a facility director.
Does it change the pay?
No, it's the same,
Just changes the job description.
just the job description.
Motion to approve.
Motion in a couple of seconds on the floor. Any discussion on this?
We have, I might have missed it, Dan was interrupting me rudely while you were presenting. Do we have somebody in this position now?
No, Jerry Bryan vacated.
We haven't, okay.
Is
We're gonna wait till we got your blessing.
is this what you talked about the other night? Is this what you were mentioning the other
This is
evening?
what I was mentioning the other evening, yeah.
All right.
Good idea.
Any other questions or comments?
All right, Lauren?
It's a good idea.
Yeah. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed? We have our blessing.
We don't vote on the 144?
Well, do we do, is it, oh, I thought we were just approving that.
Yeah, it's 144.
All right, so that's the job description approval.
Okay.
Hold on a minute. Now we're gonna approve the 144.
Motion to approve.
The motion, is there a second? And a second. This is on the 144. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Whitten,
Yes.
Councilmember Conover,
Yes.
Councilmember Biggs,
Yes.
Councilmember Graham,
Yes.
Councilmember Clifton,
Yes.
Councilmember Conrad,
Yes.
Councilmember Rivas,
Yes.
7-0.
Fantastic. All right.
Can we bring Expo up now?
Yes.
Lori,
Expo.
Trey.
Thank you. Welcome. We have a couple of transfers in front of us. One is $1,500 for liability insurance to travel, transferring funds from the travel account to attend a convention with Fair Board in November. And then there's a $7,000 request from salaries to hourly. Hourly wages will be more than budgeted. What's your pleasure with these requests?
Move to approve.
Motion on both transfers, I assume. Second concurs. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Transfers are approved.
Thank you,
Thank you very much, guys. Let's see. Okay, so that takes care of the commissioners. Let's go to the assessor.
Assessor.
And you see him sitting back there, in the back.
Lurching in the dark.
Coming out of those shadows.
Well, John, how are you? You know I know, it wasn't that good. It's quick, though. So,
late for you with the
marriage, or?
So we got a couple things in front of us. We have an additional $750 to 1340 boards, funds needed for December Peter Bull hearing. Then there's an additional request of $48,000 to contractual half of 8th year support, Xsoft, $28,875, Idea Group, Access, 99% of funds have been used. So, what's your pleasure with this request?
Second.
On both, I assume?
Yes, both.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Conover,
Yes.
Councilmember Biggs,
Yes.
Councilmember Graham,
Yes.
Councilmember Clifton,
Yes.
Councilmember Conrad,
Yes.
Councilmember Rivas,
Yes.
Councilmember Whitten.
Yes.
Dan, can I ask the assessor a few
Yes,
things?
you can.
Last night, you came up, you weren't here. GIS is getting shoved into Bob's budget. He doesn't have enough money, and there was conversation about maybe your reassessment fund, or your paying part of the salary, the assessor paying part, Bob paying part. Is that conceptually okay? We were gonna do this in January. I just wanted to, didn't want to blindside you in January by taking, $25,000 or whatever number we decide. You guys use it, they
I
use
don't know
it.
that our funds are healthy, and I think you're talking to...
Well, just the concept.
Is that where we're going, the concept?
Yeah, the concept. Yeah, he's giving you the heads up that did come up yesterday,
Yeah.
about a shared cost of GIS. So, yeah, why don't you guys get your heads together, look at your funds, and see what,
A little bit.
yeah.
And maybe to wet their beak a little bit.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John.
Take care. Health. evening, how are you? INLHDTA, additional $20,000 to hourly, utilize carryover funds to pay hourly employees, RNs, nursing secretaries, et cetera, covering children's immunizations clinics through December, end of this year, plus an additional $38.25 to FICA, cover additional transferred funds for hourly RNs and nursing secretaries. And then we have a transfer, $22,000 from 2410 Med, and dental to hourly, $3,000 from training and ed to hourly, $5,000 from contractual services to hourly, covering hourly RNs and nursing secretaries' wages who staff children's immunization clinics throughout December 31st, 2015. What's your pleasure with this request?
Second.
We have a motion and a second, I assume, on all?
Yes.
Transfer everything? Everything.
Yes.
Pretty creative financing.
And, any other questions or concerns? Hearing none, let's get a roll call on all these.
Councilmember Day?
Yes.
Councilmember Graham?
Yes.
Councilmember Jessen?
Yes.
Councilmember Paparad?
Yes.
Councilmember Liddy?
Yes.
Councilmember Whitten?
Yes.
Councilmember Conover?
Yes.
7-0.
And then one other, health transfer, $1,500 from travel with other supplies to cover additional costs of surface water. Okay?
I'll make that, I thought she did, but okay.
No, I'll make it. All right, it's different fund. The motion is second on the floor, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Transfer's approved. Have a good evening, take care, man. Porter County Substance Abuse Council, Drug Free Communities Fund, a series of additionals, $41,856, $46,856, $51,856, $46,856, with change. Grants for drug-free community funding. What's your pleasure on the request?
Move to approve.
The motion and a second on all the additionals, and any discussion or questions?
We get a real quick 30-second, what's new?
What happened?
30 seconds.
30 seconds.
I want to
Take as long as you would like. This is an important issue.
It is.
Regardless of these,
Great, well, and...
You're the one told me to make it quick tonight.
And we appreciate you all very much and for this opportunity. My name is Gail, and this is Larry LaFleur. He's our Vice President of the Board. 30 seconds, what we've been doing, we've been getting out in the community quite a bit this last year. It's been a very successful year. We've had the Blunt Truth About Marijuana up in Portage, Community Matters down in Hebron, and we also did Awareness Matters out at the Expo Center, which I just want to say, which is just left, but the Expo Center was absolutely fantastic. We had a really good turnout for that. We've been getting speakers out into the community and the schools and elsewhere through our Speakers Bureau. We've got a parent guidebook that's just recently been updated. We've got that out in the schools, so parents of all registering sixth graders have access to that. We're also working with the sheriff on his video and doing some programming in terms of finding out what's happening in the community, because that's such a fabulous video that he put together. What else am I missing? We have been, we've got our resource book, we've got our website, we've got our Facebook page. We're, doing a lot out in the community.
Good.
Life is good.
Life is good, right? And we think that we're making a difference. I don't know if you've seen some of the numbers, but the numbers are starting to trend down, which is fabulous.
That's very good news.
It is really
That is
good
good
news,
news.
yes. So we're talking about kids there specifically, so.
Thank you very much.
Our goal is to see you guys disappear.
Yes, that's right, that's exactly right.
Work yourself out of a job.
Yes.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Graham?
Yes.
Councilmember Jessen?
Yes.
Councilmember Paparad?
Yes.
Councilmember Rita?
yes.
Councilmember Whitten?
Yes.
Councilmember Conover?
Absolutely.
And Councilmember Day?
Yep.
7-0.
Keep up the good work, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good evening. Treasurer, tax sale fees, $25 to advertising.
Well, motion to deny.
$8,975 to contractual services, $3356.67 to advertising to cover tax sales for 15 tax sale and advertising tax sale properties in the Cheston Tribune. What's your pleasure?
Move. Second.
The motion and a second. Any discussion? So we had the tax sale, was that today?
Yes.
Those are pretty reasonable fees in the Chester Tribune, isn't it?
The $25?
Jeez, you guys.
Honoring out to the press, even in this.
Hey,
He's not even here. It's his neighbor, leave him alone.
Oh, there he is, Jeff.
Oh, there's Jeff. All right, so how'd it go? Everything went okay with the tax sale? I mean,
It did, it went really smooth. Yes,
Okay.
it did.
all right, very good.
Yeah, and everything was paid and done.
Did I make any money?
Well, it depends on for whom.
Yeah.
We have those numbers in the office, but I can get it for you.
No, you don't have to go. No.
Come on.
Okay. And, let's get a roll call, please.
Really?
Councilmember
No, on all of them.
Yes.
Councilmember Paparad,
Yes.
Councilmember Rivas,
Yes.
Councilmember Witten,
Yes.
Councilmember Conover,
Yes.
Councilmember Biggs,
Yes.
and Councilmember Graham.
Yes.
7-0.
Thank you very much. Have a good night. Juvenile detention, JPG Mental Health Grant, $32,823 to contractual services, new grant received. What's your pleasure?
Move. Second.
Motion and a second, discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Paparad,
Yes.
Councilmember Rivas.
Yes.
Councilmember Witten,
Yes.
Councilmember Conover.
Yes.
Councilmember Biggs,
Yeah.
Councilmember Graham,
Yes.
and Councilmember Justin.
Yes.
7-0. Thank you.
Planning Commission, Planning and Zoning Impact Fund, transfer $700 from consultants to telephone, request transfer for a new phone replacement, and then $1,500 from consultants to legal notice, request transfer for public hearing cases, legal notice published in the papers. What's your pleasure?
I'll make.
Motion and a second, any discussion?
Yeah, we doing autopsies, Bob, or am I missing something here?
What?
Well, it just says...
I know an autopsy on mine.
See, I wasn't even gonna get it.
Life.
Yeah,
I don't know where that's coming from.
Okay.
That particular line item.
all right.
Bob's branching out.
Hey, you gotta cover that GAS guy somehow.
Cross-training with,
Yeah, there you go.
All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Transfers are approved. Thanks, Bob.
I know it's slow up there, but it's not dead, is it?
Highway Department, motor vehicle highway, there's an additional $10,000 to our truck equipment, $10,000 to vehicle repair, additional needs for impending winter repair. And then a series of transfers, $2,000 from building and liability to hardware and tools, $1,000 from building liability, repair and maintenance, $200 from building liability to water and sewer, request needed for year-end needs. What's your pleasure?
I'll make the motion on, I'm sorry, go ahead, sorry.
Go ahead.
Sylvia made the motion.
On both, Sylvia?
Yes.
I assumed as much. Bob, will you be seconding that?
Yep.
I assume that as well. Any, discussion? Hearing now, let's get a roll call on these.
Yes.
Councilmember Witten,
Yes.
Councilmember Conover.
Yes.
Councilmember Biggs,
Yes.
Councilmember Graham,
Yes.
Councilmember Justin,
Yes.
Councilmember Paparad.
Yes.
7-0.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good evening. Enhanced Access, ITS, additional $6,241.11 to data processing. This will appropriate the rest of the cash in this dedicated fund allowed to be cleared out for the future budgets. That's always nice. Then there's a transfer of $15,600 from hourly to data processing equipment, $1,160.28 from FICA to data processing. Hourly and FICA is no longer needed and wasn't even last year, but the decision came after the budget time. So, seems like there ought to be more. I just sort of died in the middle of a sentence,
So, that's on our...
So transferring to make final year and...
Oh, I didn't get to ours, it just ended at so. We figured it had to be more.
Yeah.
So what? So who cares?
Yeah.
What's your pleasure with this? We have a motion, is there a second?
Yes.
There is?
Yes. Second.
We need to reduce the additional appropriation request after conferring with the auditor. We need to reduce the 624111 to 432854.
Does the motion concur with that reduction?
Yes.
And the second, I assume, concurs?
Yes.
So, any other discussion?
You're you're wiping out your hourly.
We haven't used it all year. We used it last year. We had a part-time person that would work 8 to 12 hourly, and when we replaced an employee that was gone, one retired, a new one came in, we found that we didn't need to have that hourly person there anymore, so we haven't had it at all.
All right.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Witten,
Yes.
Councilmember Conover.
Yes.
Councilmember Biggs,
Yes.
Councilmember Graham,
Yes.
Councilmember Justin,
Yes.
Councilmember Paparad.
Yes.
Councilmember Rivas.
Yes.
7-0.
Very good, thank
And
you.
then this budget that was turned in for next year can be eliminated for enhanced access, because this will clear out the fund and
Okay.
that we zero.
All right, sounds good. Thank you very much. Have a good evening. Clerk General Fund, transfer $33,425 from salaries to data process equipment, next phase of the Odyssey project. Sounds very cool. The docket typist will be attaching the document to the docket entry.
Move.
Motion. Is there a second? Second. Discussion?
Karen, 33,425, what did you eliminate to come up with that kind of money?
Well, we will probably be able to remove some positions, but I had some positions that had FMLA, you know.
Right.
I've had some individuals, so they haven't gotten paid, and I have one position that I've taken as of right now.
Okay, so she's had some unused.
And I always give money back.
Okay.
That's what you do.
Thank you.
All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Transfers approved. Have a good evening. Parks and Recs. CECLP funds for Kane acquisition, additional $450,720 to 4110 land purchase acquisition of 137 acres, coastal, and I don't even know what that word is, land conservation program. Then there's an additional B&T funds for Kane acquisition, $244,470 to 4110 land purchase, acquisition of 137 acres, Bicentennial Nature Trust program. Then there's the Conservation Fund funds for Kane acquisition. I see a pattern here. Additional $196,920 to land purchase, acquisition of 137 acres. General Fund Parks Department transfer $3,000 from salaries to building maintenance, completion of maintenance, repairs, upgrades. Then we have a transfer of $3,000 from salaries to contractual services, hiring of engineering firm to assist in the completion of capital projects. What is your pleasure with these?
Motion to approve all of them.
The motion on the floor and a second on all discussion.
Go. Help me understand the land acquisition. All this land, what are we talking about here?
Roughly 137 acres?
Yeah, what is it?
There's a 137-acre parcel in Pine Township that became available to us, and we had funding that also became available to us at the same time last year. So we went ahead and started the process of acquiring it.
Very cool.
What are we gonna do with it? What kind of land is it? Good land, bad land, wet land?
Your land, my land?
It's a mix of forest and wetland, some agricultural, so there's gonna be some restoration that we'll do over the next couple of years, but yeah, it's 130, it's beautiful.
Sounds cool, dude. Sounds very cool, actually.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I'm gonna put a banquet center on it.
They get a liquor license?
Wow.
Wow. Biggs and Pop are both jumping in on the Kraken Wise comment.
You're hiring an engineering firm? Is that different than the one you're using at the park?
We're going to work with the Dunlin Group, which is the firm that the county's been using for all of our projects since we lost our planner this year. There's a couple of our capital projects that we're still completing that I need somebody with that technical expertise, so transferring out of that planner salary into the contractual services, so we can still get some of that done this year.
Well, it's very exciting, man. I'm happy to hear you guys are
moving forward.
Plan and
Yeah.
pretty exciting.
Walter, very quick, where's this, the $450,000 of the land purchase? Where is that located exactly?
Where's the property at?
Yeah.
It's on Old Chicago Road. For several years, there was a giant for sale sign right on the tollway, on the north side of the road, right at the intersection of the tollway and the railroad tracks there. So Mr. Kane, it was a PUD that just never came to fruition. He had it on the market for several years. He's fourth generation of the property, and he's an outdoorsman as well, so.
I know the land.
Yeah, this was really one of those things where literally the same week a real estate agent contacted me about it, the same week that the Conservation Fund said, oh, by the way, we've got all this cash, but it has to go to buy land.
Right.
So it just, how do you say no to that?
Very cool. All right, any other questions?
How often, this money is available, how often are we looking at purchasing land out there to preserve? I'm asking because I represent Portage Township, the largest township in the city, and it's growing crazy to the south, and when are we gonna go over there and maybe protect some land from the city of Portage as it expands south? Portage Township has some parks, but they obviously don't have all kinds of money to protect any land.
I would absolutely love if we could find another way to have a dedicated source of funds to have land acquisition projects. Number of years.
Preserve green space.
You got it. It's going to be one of the smartest things that this council can do to improve the quality of life is invest in parks and open space. There's a giant study that just came out this week that showed that parks and open space, more than most other quality of life amenities, are making a more positive economic impact in big cities, more so than farmers markets or economic development areas or anything like that. People are flocking to places like Portage and Valpo and other urban areas because they're walkable, because they're green, because they're fun places to live. Plain and simple.
Very good. Any other questions? Roll call. We're doing them all, transfer included? I believe that was the motion, right? Yeah, we are. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Conover?
Yes.
Councilmember Fitch?
Yes.
Councilmember Graham?
Yes.
Councilmember Justin?
Yes.
Councilmember Paparad?
Yes.
Councilmember Rivas?
Yeah, the condition that the next purchase is in Porterstown. Yes.
He just gave you a conditional yes.
And Councilmember Whitten?
Yes. Thank you very much. Weights and measures, general fund, transfer $11,000 from salaries, contractual $3,000 from salaries, data processing, $1,500 for 3130 training and ed, computer software, WinWham, device inspection software, computer equipment, plus a transfer of $400 from training and ed to uniform clothing. What's your pleasure?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion, second on both transfers, I assume, all transfers. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it.
Smart move, Mike.
I do have one question.
Sure.
The maintenance fee is $550 for the computer program,
Good luck with that, Mike.
and I had that in my budget, take it out of training education program, but for last hearing,
Okay.
so I just want to transfer that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Sounds good. Thanks, Mike. Take care, man. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Prosecutor, local grant OWI testing is an additional $1,133.52 to contract with a prior year grant and a balance of that, interestingly enough, still available and wasn't included in the 15 budget. What's your pleasure? Brian, how are you? Roll call, please.
Yes.
Councilmember Graham?
Yes.
Councilmember Justin?
Yes.
Councilmember Paparad?
Yes.
Councilmember Rivas?
Yes.
Councilmember Whitten?
Yes.
Councilmember Conover?
Yes.
7-0.
This one's approved. Thanks, Mark.
By the time I sat down.
Thank you. Take care, man. Adult probation, IJCMH grant, additional $74,500.
Second.
Thank you. Motion and a second on the floor. Discussion, none, roll call. You can make you sit down, Jamie.
Yes.
Councilmember Justin?
Yes.
Councilmember Paparad?
Yes.
Councilmember
Yes.
Rivas? Councilmember Whitten?
Yes.
Councilmember Conover?
Yes.
Councilmember Fitch?
Yes.
7-0.
Good evening. Take care.
Thank you for...
Yes, thanks for hanging out.
I'm just gonna call that off, Jim. Porter County Council. General fund budget, additional $10,000 to legal, paid by the pound. General fund council budget transfer $1,000 from salaries.
Didn't we just do this last month?
This guy's sucking
This
up.
every month?
This guy's sucking up fees like it's
Whatever
going out of
it takes.
style, man.
What is this for?
He's like a fee sponge, man.
I understand for legal, but what? I mean...
Listen, dude, the day you question my counsel. You gotta answer these questions, Scott.
Jeremy, I'd be happy to...
The proof's in the pudding.
Anytime you want to.
The proof's in the pudding, baby.
Most of it's from earlier in the year on the foundation stuff.
And I will tell you that as we move forward through the foundation process, I anticipate we're gonna have some more updates.
A boatload of bills.
Yeah, so we need to...
Coming from,
Listen, I was gonna tell you, there's no disparaging comments on any other attorneys in the county government process, but I've asked Scott to do things that typically may very well have been done in other places, and he's just taken the ball and he's got it together, and...
Oh, my...
And I work with him on it, and yes, I'm an attorney, and I don't charge, so you get free legal service on top of Scott, and probably better legal service for free than you're getting from Scott.
Get Bob and I did my mouth.
Jeremy.
All right, we've all,
I said move to approve.
we have a motion to approve, is there a second?
Yes.
Second. Any other discussion, anybody want to put on Scott some more?
I wouldn't make it on that.
Did the commissioners
Do the ordinance? Yeah, we're gonna get to that.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, we did. And, roll call, please.
Councilmember Justin?
Yes.
Councilmember Paparad?
Yes.
Councilmember Rivas?
No.
No.
Yes. Fine.
Mental note, Scott, don't return any of his calls.
Fine, yes.
Councilmember Whitman?
Yes.
Councilmember Conover?
Yes.
Councilmember Biggs?
Yes.
Councilmember Graham?
Yes.
7-0.
Congratulations, Ms. Clary, you can now continue to feed your family. Second reading, please.
Whereas it has been determined that it is now necessary to appropriate more money than what was appropriated.
Gonna read the whole list.
Therefore, be it ordained resolved by the Board of Council
She have to read this whole thing?
Yes. Show me your light pole again. What are the name?
I tried.
What's the guy's name that hit it?
I don't know.
Three readings, sure.
Total of $5,000 $750 and $48,000. That was from the account fund.
We don't have to pay for
A
it.
total of $24,825.
I mean, they're gonna ship it from Nebraska, which is...
For community fund, $41,856.16,
Dakota,
highway,
Oh, yeah. Oh, boy. Nebraska, same way.
Who's in it back?
Highway MVH fund a total of $20,000.
What game?
Tourism fund a total of $5,000.
I'm following stickball, man, I'm a man's man, football only. Football games, right?
going along.
No, it's all like messing around with baseball. Being football, man. The baseball didn't turn. You said you were beating out? Oh.
Prosecutor, local grant OWI custom contractual, $1,133.52. Sheriff's donations, a total of $20,000. Sheriff's general fund,
Go on, you got our attention.
$263,000. Adult predation, community mental health grant, $74,563. And Porter County Council general fund, $10,000.
What's your point?
I'll make the motion on second reading.
We have a motion on second reading, is there a second on second reading?
Second.
And a second roll call.
Councilmember Cutler.
Yes. Yes.
Councilmember Whitten.
Yes.
Councilmember Conover.
Yes.
Councilmember Biggs.
Yes.
Councilmember Graham.
Yes.
Councilmember Jessen.
Yes.
7-0.
Thank you. Scott, tell us about our ordinance.
As you know, as we talked about earlier, maybe back in August, necessity for the county executive and this body, the fiscal body, to pass substantially similar ordinances to office into 36-114-3, which is what we are all referring to as a foundation ordinance. My understanding is today the commissioners did pass their ordinance establishing or availing ourselves to this new foundation's statutorily created. So what I'm asking you to do is to pass our ordinance.
This is the same one you showed us before, right?
It's exactly the same.
And I want to clarify something. I know that there was some confusion at the commissioners, or at least after the commissioners meeting, as with respect to exactly what they passed. They adopted an ordinance and committed all but $10 million into the foundation. Is that correct?
That's my understanding, yes.
Why is Justin?
No, I didn't stay till the end of the meeting unless they changed it, but when they talked about that, they did not include any specific dollar amount.
Well, actually, I spoke to two commissioners that said that when Commissioner Evans indicated that it didn't have the money component, that he was mistaken.
I agree with Mike, I was there too.
I'm not voting on this till I know what they passed.
Right.
We don't have a copy of that?
Give me a copy of what they passed. I'm not voting on this till we know.
Does somebody have it?
The end.
Do it Thursday.
We'll do it Thursday? Thursday.
I'm not. I want to know what they passed. The two commissioners have told me that they...
What I would, and maybe we just need to see if somebody's here, what my understanding is this, that the ordinance I drafted for them is the ordinance that they passed. The ordinance I drafted had that language in it that was all but $10 million. And
See if the commissioner's still here. Can somebody go check? Are they left?
There's no way.
You don't have a copy of that, but they passed, Vicki, they don't give you that?
It was specifically mentioned that a dollar amount was not included.
But I think, but the other two
Because
said,
it's a giant paragraph.
and I think that the
It's
two
not a dollar amount.
indicated that he is mistaken about that.
Because you have to understand, the way, as you guys have a copy of
Yes.
this, the way the enabling ordinance for the commissioners reads, it doesn't read, we're putting this many dollars in. There's a long paragraph because we have language in there, for instance, talking about as certain loans come due, that principal amounts get transferred over. It really actually would read at a quick glance of all but $10 million. But there was some additional language, as we talked about before, concerning, we have some loans out there, things like that. So it's not just all being transferred at once, but...
As it comes due, it's gonna be moved in.
Correct. And that's why it's not just...
Or do we move...
one line item with a number in it.
Well, okay,
That conflicts very
Dan,
specifically with what was said, though.
well, I gotta ask a question. You said all along that the bond issue or the loan counts as an asset.
Correct.
So, in theory, we're moving all of it into the foundation, the loan and the cash.
Yes. It's just the...
So nothing comes due, it's all moved at once.
Here's what we're gonna do. Can we adopt this ordinance Thursday?
Yes.
So, can you get a copy of what was passed? Two commissioners have confirmed to me that they committed all but $10 million, and that was a mistake, saying otherwise. But if we're not 100% sure of that, I'd like to know.
Then we can bring it up Thursday night, and I will have what the commissioners passed signed here for us to review.
Perfect. And then, and I don't know, I don't think, I want to be clear, and I think that was the intention, at least from the majority, maybe all of them, but I want to make sure that's what happened. Okay, and then, so we'll set this over to Thursday. Do we have to re-advertise the ordinance, or can we just do it on
I
Thursday?
think what we should do is have a motion to continue this Thursday night, that takes care of any advertising issues. Put it
Can I get a motion to table this until Thursday night?
Motion to approve.
Whoa.
Is it a motion to table or continue? It's motion.
It's a motion to continue.
Motion to...
Motion to, give me a motion to continue the ordinance discussion. So a motion to continue the ordinance adoption until Thursday, and there's a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Jeremy, do you have something for us?
Yeah, I have a resolution that's been passed by a number of other government entities in northwest Indiana in the wake of the contract negotiations with the Steelworkers of America and U.S. Steel and ArcelorMittal. I only got to explain to this board here the importance of manufacturing in this country and the importance of the steel mills to northwest Indiana. So it's a pretty simple resolution. I'll read it and then ask for your support on it. It's a resolution supporting the United Steelworkers of America, whereas on March 7th, 1937, the Steelworkers Union signed the first contract with Carnegie Illinois Steel for $5 a day wage benefits. And whereas on May 2nd, 1942, the United Steelworkers of America was officially created to negotiate for steelworkers, and whereas a 3-year labor agreement for 30,000 steelworkers in the United States was set to expire on September 1st, 2015. Whereas, encouraged by its most recent discussions with ArcelorMittal and U.S. Steel at the bargaining table, the United Steelworkers did not call for a strike on September 1st and will continue to negotiate in good faith. Whereas ArcelorMittal, the world's largest steelmaker, and U.S. Steel, the largest steel company in Lake County, are expected to negotiate with the Steelworkers Union in good faith. Whereas the Porter County Council supports the United Steelworkers of America in their fight for equality and fair treatment of current and retired steelworkers. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Porter County Council supports the United Steelworkers of America and encourages ArcelorMittal and U.S. Steel to reach a fair agreement with the union.
This is important because Metal and U.S. Steel have reached out to me, and they want to know what Porter County thinks.
Well, a motion to approve this resolution.
Okay. We have a motion. I'll second the motion. Any discussion?
No, I think it's already been signed at this end. Right.
And I think, Bob, you were around when Bethlehem Steel filed bankruptcy. I think we know the importance of the
Yes.
steel mills to the tax base.
We do.
To the citizens of Porter County.
Let's get a...
Well said, Mr. Rivas, well said.
Let's get a roll call.
Hard to get a word in edgewise up there, but when I do it...
Was there something more you wanted to add, Councilman Rivas? You have the floor.
I have my motion on the floor. Please call the question.
Very impeccable.
Can we get a roll call on this motion, please?
Councilmember Rivas.
Well, absolutely.
Okay, Okay, Councilmember Witten.
Yes.
Councilmember Conover.
Yes.
Councilmember Dick.
Yes.
Councilmember Grant.
Yes.
Councilmember Justin.
Yes.
Councilmember Cochran.
Yes. I have one item, Dan.
Well, before we do that, Bob, I'm sorry, did you have anything else, Scott? I bumped off of the...
No, it was follow-up after that ordinance, but we'll talk about Thursday.
All right, Bob?
I was thinking about the employees' longevity, the second half payment. I've talked to the commissioners, what's left in their gas fund since the prices have fallen? How much cash is sitting in that fund, do you know? And how much is the second half of longevity? That was the other question.
Right, it'll be
168,000 sticks in my mind.
about 170 for the actual pay, but we have to pay FICA.
Okay, I was thinking 160. But I talked to them, the gas fund, the prices being down, they may have some cash in there. Can you pull it up, see what they have in there?
Oh, no, I'm for it.
Fuel. No, gasoline. Fuel.
Yes.
Well, yeah, whoever, yeah. This is their budget or your budget? Who had fuel? Okay, I was just thinking about that, we're gonna be looking here for cash, and if we could send them a note, President Whitten, if you wanna reach the commissioners, they have to make the transfer about the gas.
I'm sorry, I missed every single thing.
He's looking at the extra money because...
I got that part. How much was in that,
I'm reading it now, but I thought if you could reach out.
I will.
They've nodded their head agreeably, and...
Spent about half of it.
Yeah, balance 265, 150.
Very good thinking, Councilman.
What do you think outside the box, Bob?
Well, that gets into off the employees' money.
Yeah,
because
that's right.
It comes in December, and...
Right,
Right.
I will reach out.
You'll take care of that?
I will.
I got the blush, I got a couple of them, so...
Good work.
That's what I do.
Anything else?
Where all the money is.
I'm sorry, Bob, I did not remember this earlier, when you brought this up, but I just asked Vicki, if you remember back, the Riverboat Fund...
Right.
We did not take the first longevity payment out of it.
Why, I thought we were running dry because of the drug money.
But the drug money's been paid.
Okay.
The second half of longevity
Okay, that's fine.
probably can come out of the Riverboat money because we didn't...
Don't care, I'm still gonna make the request. I think it's a good
Well,
request.
if it's not enough, then,
Yeah, fine, no, we're...
Either way, the employees get the money.
Yeah.
It's always an issue this time of year because of Christmas shopping.
Yeah, we don't have to, and the worst things can happen besides not depleting the riverboat.
Employees are gonna get their longevity.
Right, so, okay, that's good thinking, Bob. Well, I'll reach out to them anyway, that's a good idea.
I assume the riverboat dried up because of the drug.
Well, even if we cure, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's not a bad idea. You're right, gas prices came down, we have a balance there, it's not a bad idea. Anything else? With that?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second. Good night.